Look who it is. He's right here.
Holy crap. I'm not on another screen.
I don't have to wait for him to shut up for me to talk and vice versa.
You just slap me.
I just... We're here. One mic, one office. Here we are.
One amazingness.
One amazingness from two sides of the planet, from Auckland, New Zealand. Here's Mr. Chris Yates. What's up, Chris?
What's up, brother? How's it going? It's good to see you.
Good to see you. Glad to be here. I'm grateful to have you staying in my home. I'm really excited for this trip that we're about to embark on.
Sure, you're grateful for me being in your house?
I am. It's been, you like to talk a lot. I'm a little quieter. So is Jasmine, but we adjust, we make it work.
Yeah.
He's a little bit of a chatterbox, this guy.
Just a little bit.
But it's good. I guess when you live on a boat for years, you have to find your own.
I think it's more of those years as a cop not talking at all. I've got to make up for 7 years of it.
Yeah, I figured you had to self-actualize or self-soothe being alone all the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, so just a few quick housekeeping items. Mastermind of Millions tickets are on sale at mastermindtomillions.live. We have early bird pricing going on. We are consistently enrolling great clients into the BAM program. We have some great testimonial videos. If you check out my personal timeline, you can watch through that from the last few weeks, people just raving about the results they're getting, new clients, amazing experiences, building incredible masterminds and families of choice, as we like to say. Mastermind is really three things, three F's. It's freedom, it's financial abundance, and it's family of choice, right? And fun. That's a fourth thing.
Fun. It was fun. I'll tell you that. It was fun. I'm glad that I came from the other side of the world. What I'm going to do real quick, Brad, is I'm going to pull up Facebook on here. So anybody that's asking questions, normally I'm on my computer doing it. On the side.
So yeah, hit us up with questions. We're going to talk today about the power of connections.
Yes.
This is a good example of that. Chris joined us in 2019. He's since had a very successful business that he's now parlayed into another business, which is going to be working with not just police officers, but entire police departments, which he's had some really strong, well, just give us the update on that. How's it been going?
Yeah, so ran 2 live in-person introductory sessions for that. We've reduced anxiety in both of them by at least 20%. So that's pretty good. In 4 hours, reduced anxiety for law enforcement, by 20%. So pretty impressive, but it's going pretty well. We've had a roller go through it.
Data, right? They're telling
that's self-recorded. They're telling me that. So that's a survey at the beginning of the 4 hours and at the end. So it's not a fallacy. It's them telling me, okay, I'm scaling 1 to 10 here at the beginning and 1 to 10 at the end. So it's going really good. It's all stuff that I wouldn't be able to do if I hadn't gone through this guy who's getting water. If I hadn't stole your confidence in the very beginning, bro. Dude, I remember that. I remember you going, I have so much confidence, take more of it. And I'm like, I don't need any more confidence, but when it comes to business confidence, okay, I'll take it.
Yeah, it's like if you're creating an RPG character, right? Yeah. And you had like the different sliders. You could pick like how handsome, attractive, this one, that one.
10,
I've got 10 on confidence, and I've probably got like
business confidence.
Yeah,
and normal confidence.
I've probably got like a 3 on patience, right? Yeah. It's like there's always drawbacks to this game. Like
I got like an 8 in patience.
Yeah.
And then I had like in normal confidence, I had like an 8 or 9. But then if we sub that down to business confidence, I had like a 2.
Right. And that's one of the powers of connection. To bring it back to the headline for today is like, you may have something really well dialed in, figured out for yourself, but that doesn't mean that other people have that figured out. So you can add value to their life with the things that you're naturally gifted at and vice versa. So where I might be a little more quiet and reserved, Chris has the chatterbox mentality. He's really good at being patient through people's mindset challenges and on and going. He's an unflappable dude. He's really good at man stuff. Like having him around the house has been awesome. Because I'm the kind of guy like, who do I need to pay to make this problem go away? I'm just trying to throw cash at problems all the time. And he's able to fix things and solve things in real time, which is always really fun. Like he's working on my bike. He's helped me do like the brake pads and the chain and this and that.
Hanging up curtains.
And
Brad's sitting here helping me with my business stuff. Like,
there you go.
This is the thing. Like I'm sitting here bouncing ideas off of him. It's been great staying at his house because instead of having to wait till this call or till, the BAM call, I'm just like, Brad, what about this? Or I got this. And you're like, well, why not this? And I'm like, oh, actually, that's a better idea.
Yeah. Well, I'm so proud of you, man, because I'm actually not this short, by the way. I'm just sitting down. I just want to point that out. He is very tall, but I'm not that short. So there's that thing. But I want to reiterate, like, it's just so awesome to continue to grow our relationship and to continue to like deepen that and have better perspective on that. And I'm
all through a connection.
Yeah, and it's all through connection. I'm a very cerebral person, so I spend a lot of time thinking about things, but I don't always do as well at the emoting side of things. So like I can always feel my feelings, but they're usually not really expressed or healthily expressed right away. Usually they come out as some other thing sometime later. So I'm getting better at that, at like recognizing and speaking about the things that are bothering me in real time. And that's something I think that you also do really well with, probably partially because you had to, right? The job of being a police officer is hard and challenging and difficult. And you've been to both sides of that extreme spectrum where you didn't do that for a while and you burned out, and you did do that for a while and it kind of balanced out. And you have that healthy mentality. And I'm still working on that in my own life. So it's like this relationship has really, I think, brought a lot of value into my life. I know it's brought a lot of value into your life. And we're taking that forward to other people. Like, you're working on cooler shit and I'm working on cooler shit. Now we're working on stuff together, and you got, your group we're going with, and we're doing the motorcycle trip together, and it's just awesome. So gang, again, family of choice being the number one thing that I believe is in Power Masterminds, but just connecting generally. Find people in your life who have things that you aspire to have in your life that you don't yet have, and learn from them, and vice versa. And if you can get paid to do that, all the better.
Well, from your mastermind, from the very beginning, being in your mastermind, I met people that I would have never had the opportunity to be in the same room as. And even Mastermind to Millions, when, earlier this year, it was like, I was in that room and I was talking with people that I would have never been able to meet if I hadn't been there. And so, they put me in touch with people, and, who then put me in touch with people, or, opportunities are building from it. So that connection, I remember being in law enforcement. I was the prime minister. I was the head of the country's bodyguard for 3.5 years. And I was getting cards from these CEOs and all these different people that were like, if you ever want to go do something different, or if you want connections with Secret Service and you want to go get a job there, different things like that. And I would take those cards and I'd be like, why do I need this?
Yeah. What was your mindset at the time that led you to make that action? And
that I missed a call
today. Oh, I see. So you didn't feel worthy?
I didn't feel worthy. I didn't feel like that I could do more than just be a cop. And so as soon as I, started getting involved with yourself, with the people that you surround yourself with, all of a sudden it was like, well, wait a second. No, actually, I can do this. And the power is in, because I've watched you say, oh yeah, no, I know somebody for that. Oh yeah, no, I know somebody for that. I know somebody for that. And now I actually pride myself. We had this good discussion. Was it yesterday? I think
you're the guy now who can make this.
The guy now that was like, oh, I was at a first responders conference for mental health for police officers. And I met all these cool people. And all of a sudden I'm like, I know all these chiefs. I know all these different people. And literally got and sent like a dozen emails to all these different people, of all these different people that I met at the conference that have all these things that can help the chiefs, officers. And it's like, and I got an email back. Oh, thanks so much for that, Chris. We're always trying to do stuff. And there's a massive power and connection. And so that whole connection side of stuff, you might not realize that this card that you get from somebody today is going to be able to help somebody else tomorrow. Yeah. It's not necessarily what it's going to necessarily just do for yourself, but you might be able to pass that connection on to somebody else. Yeah.
And this is indicative of a larger issue, is that people tend to focus on whether something's good for them or not, or whether it benefits them or not, or whether it meets their needs or not, or solves their problem. But it's really irrelevant when you zoom out to be more like a servant leader, a connector, a facilitator of a network, because that's really the power position you're talking about. Mm-hmm. You're connecting networks to people who should know each other, but don't for whatever reason.
I mean, these are in and outpatient facilities. For me, they mean not a whole lot. Right. Like they are not going to help me.
But the people you serve.
But the people that I serve, it means a lot. So when I sit there and I go, hey, actually, yes, I know some people, I know a platform that I'm part of that you can come and speak on, and it's going to help connect you to, a dozen people instantly, who then connect you with a dozen people. They instantly, and there's that whole side of there's that side of, they go, oh, wow, you're willing to do this for me?
Yeah.
And instantly, like, I don't even ask for it, but instantly go, actually, I know the chief here, I know the sheriff here, and I know this person. I'm going to put you in touch with all three of them.
There you go. And that changes.
I didn't say that I was going to put them in touch with all these other
people.
And
you better well believe that they're going to do anything they can to speak your praises and help you out in the future.
As long as you follow through.
That's right. As long as you follow through. You don't want to be making promises that you can't keep. And it comes down to, like, when you think about this from a holistic perspective, everybody who focuses on themselves and what they can get, they shrink, they constrict. And everybody who focuses on what can they do for others expands. And they expand in ways that are unpredictable and not always linear, but God, reality, nature, whatever you want to call it, right? The quantum reality is not that. In the multiverse of possibilities, that intelligence that you're tapping into by expanding, by thinking about more than just yourself, by wanting to grow, is going to give you things that you could never have predicted, but are ultimately what you need. So it's just trusting that every time you step up and out into another level of servant leadership, into another level of humbleness, into another level of service, and just do the thing for the person in front of you, then more and more and more is given to you.
And when I started to do it and how I got into this without even thinking about, like, I saw you doing it, I was like, wow, all these opportunities that Brad gets, that a lot of these different people that I know was because of their network, because of people that they knew, and because they were giving. But another thing that I said, it was all about just being present in the moment. And I remember seeing this video, and it kind of made some stuff click, because I remember seeing this YouTube video, and it was this, I think it was going around a couple of years ago, it was going around on Instagram or something. And it was this guy walking along with his phone, using a GPS on his phone in a country, in a city that he didn't know, wandering around, and he walked right past these people and gets to his destination and carries on. And then it clips to a different scene where he doesn't have his phone, and he's got like this map, and he's looking around, and he bumps into this lady, and the lady goes, oh, can I help you find where you're going? And they both go, and that she walks him there. They end up getting married. They end up all this different stuff, and they do all these different things because he was present in the moment and actually looking around and actually saying, hey, how can I actually interact with more people? How can I talk to people and be open to that?
Yeah.
And so it's that whole thing, like when you came into my life, you were my wife's buddy at Date with Destiny. I could have been like, oh yeah, cool, he helped my wife, and that was that. But I asked Brad what he did. And he said, I help people share their knowledge. And I was like, well, that sounds interesting. Tell me more. And the next thing he's like, oh, I'm starting to create a mastermind. And I was like, I didn't heard of these things. No, you didn't even have the program.
Yeah.
You're like, I'm thinking about creating this program to help people build masterminds. I was like, I've heard of these mastermind things. Tell me more. You're like, you share your knowledge and get paid for it. I was like, okay, cool. Well, let me know when you kind of start doing stuff. And then next thing, I'm signed up, I'm doing it. And here we are. What,
4 years later? 4 years later. So again, and people way overestimate what they can do in a year, and they way underestimate what they can do in a decade, as Tony says. It's so important to just focus on the long term and just keep making the right decisions at the right time. Like, you have an opportunity, and I screw this up. Like, I make wrong decisions all the time, but you have an opportunity in every key moment to make a new decision and to create a new outcome. And those outcomes add up, and ideally, over time, you get better at making decisions, but also the bigger wins outweigh the smaller losses.
Yeah.
And that becomes like a way to move forward. It's not about any one thing is going to make or break you, although one thing can be very significant, but it's usually the things that led up to that thing that are insignificant in the moment, but had you not done them, they wouldn't have led to that thing. And this is an opportunity at all times. And it's, again, it comes down to that trust and faith that whatever is looking out for you, life is happening for you, that you're getting the exact thing you need to get at the moment, allows you to grow. And if you do fall off and make bad choices individually, try to focus on the aggregate, right? Even the best hitter in the world, let's call it Babe Ruth at the time, had a 350 batting average. That means that 2/3 of the time he struck out. 2/3 of the time he did not hit the ball out of the park. 2/3 of the time he didn't hit the ball at all. That means you could be the best in the world and still screw up 2 out of 3 times.
Yep.
But if you focus on perfection, you'll never start, and you'll never get those at-bats. One thing Babe Ruth was not afraid to do was to get up and try again.
Well, that's why he's like Michael Jordan. We were watching that Air movie the other day.
Great movie, by the way. If you haven't seen Air,
great movie.
I love that they're making not documentaries, but like historically accurate films about entrepreneurship, about deals, about people who are kind of the unsung heroes. Everybody knows Michael Jordan, but it's like, even in the movie, they address that. Like, the people that put that together are just as much of like Jordan barely did anything to make that deal happen. His mom working with the guy that worked at Nike. Like, he just happened to be the commodity they were trading against.
But where I was going with that is, you take Michael Jordan, for example. Like, in that movie, they talk about the fact that, this guy's a nobody. He looked like a nobody coming out of what was it, high school? Yeah, well,
he got cut from his high school basketball.
Yeah,
the greatest basketball player who ever lived got cut from his team.
He looked like a nobody, but he took that and he went, okay, cool. I'm going to go do 1,000 free throw shots before we even start practice.
Yeah,
because I am going to be the best.
Yeah,
he didn't focus on all the shots that he missed. And he even says this. I've heard it somewhere. He talks about. He's like, you don't hear them talk about all the shots that I missed.
It's about the shots that he made.
It's all about the shots that he made.
And, putting up 40 points a game or more is no small feat in the NBA. but he did that consistently for many years, won 8 national championships, I want to say, which is essentially the world championship, because USA has we kind of have the lock on basketball. It's not like there's other countries competing for that. So, being the best in the world 8 times over, it speaks for itself. So not to mention with that deal, he gets 10% of Nike's revenue from his shoe brand or whatever, which is nuts. It was totally unprecedented at the time. It was the first deal of its kind. And long story short, he's made over 1.2 billion or something, like 2.1 billion.
2.1 billion.
$2.1 billion. No,
1.2 billion, I think it was.
Anyway, he became a billionaire.
He's a billionaire.
Just from a shoe deal.
Yeah. And that was all through connections, because remember the guy at Nike connected with, he knew the agent, he knew the different
and they weren't getting anywhere with the agent.
It wasn't getting anywhere with the agent. So he went through a different connection, and then he was like, okay, cool. Who knows where he lives? Who knows where his parents live? And who knows his mom?
Goes up at his house.
Goes up at the house. And it's like, that's all connections, because if he didn't have any of that, it's like, well, okay, cool.
So it's part confidence and tenacity, and all that's important, right? It's like, you got to have the gumption to do that. But it's part vision to be able to see that what's possible is possible, and not just take no for an answer. So gumption, vision, but also the connections that made it possible, because it wasn't exactly easy to find people back then.
No, you couldn't just Google their address.
Yeah, or living in a backwater in North Carolina. It wasn't like he was just going to show up and start knocking on people's doors randomly. He had to have some level of connection to do that. So not only that, he had to have the resources and backing of Phil Knight at Nike. He had to have all of this
connection with the CEO,
which they weren't always supportive, right? In the beginning, they thought he was nuts, and they had to be convinced.
He kind of was in the beginning,
but the power of that vision and his tenacity was so strong. This guy Sonny Vaccaro that pulled it through to become a $1 billion deal, and hopefully he got compensated appropriately for that. And maybe not, but the end result is somebody who could have played small, decided to play big and change the world. And continue to do so. He didn't rest on his laurels. In fact, after that, he went on to advocate for players in college to get rights to monetize their likeness and brand and image, which wasn't the case for a long time. Colleges used to make all that money and keep it. And now that's actually true. Now colleges have to cut in, or at least it's a possibility now to cut in. I don't know. I'm not 100% clear on this. But now I know it's changed.
They get a portion.
They get a portion of their likeness, their rights, their images, their merch.
Selling themselves.
And it's great, because now they're going to school, they're paying for an education, but in reality, they're setting themselves up for life, because it is a high risk endeavor, right? You don't know if you're going to bust your knee open, or get tackled, or get brain damage, or be in a concussion, or become quadriplegic, or any others. You're putting your body on the line to be the best. You should absolutely participate in the upside. Even if you're plugged into a bigger engine. So the longest time, it was just all the money went to the colleges, which is absurd. I'm not saying all of it should go to the player either, but there has to be an equitable division. I had another guy reach out to me recently who's one of my favorite people, and he said something to me that was really beautiful. I'll just kind of give you some background without giving his name, or just to respect his privacy. But this guy's a decamillionaire, family office, the whole thing, and he sent me something really beautiful recently, which was, in medieval Japan, there was an honorific called Hatamoto. A Hatamoto, regardless of his rank in the military, had access to his lord day or night with weapons. He was trusted. My assistant and I have a Hatamoto list, tongue in cheek, but it's for people who get whatever they ask for. You're on the list, and you have been for a year. By the way, there's only 6 people on this list. So this is a guy who is a decamillionaire, family office, investor. I go to him with deals. I bring him connections. I introduce him to people. He never once asked me questions about who I'm introducing and why. He just has that level of trust where he knows that if I'm introducing somebody, that it's a great fit. And that's contrary to a lot of other people in my life who don't have that level of trust, or haven't built it yet, or never will give that level of trust. This is a person who relies on his connections exclusively, to the point where it's like, I even have a list of people who are like, they get whatever they want, and I'm willing to look at anything they have to offer. And that requires a level of trust, but that also requires a level of responsibility that I don't abuse that. Right. And I'd like to say I have more than just him. He's the one who said it out loud, and it's a beautiful thing and sentiment. So thank you for listening. But the fact is, I probably have dozens of people like that in my life. Chris is somebody like that in my life. Like, if I call Chris day or night, he's going to respond, right? He's going to listen to what I have to say. And there's hundreds of other people like that will answer my phone call. And it comes from consistency. It comes from commitment. It comes from saying what I'm going to do and then doing it, or communicating if it can't be done. And it comes from just treating people like I want to be treated, right? or even more importantly, that's the golden rule, treat others like you want to be treated. The platinum rule is treat others as they want to be treated. That takes an extra level of sensory acuity and asking questions and getting clear on how do I interact with you so that you feel seen? Because love language is cut both ways too. If I treat Chris how I want to be treated, maybe that's not how he wants to be treated, right? So that's important as well. Is having that extra layer of like, hey, I'm willing to go that extra mile and learn about you and your needs so that I can only provide value.
That's right.
So I think that's a good place to end.
All right, that is.
So we did 30 minutes on the power of connection. Yeah. Again, just the quick housekeeping stuff, Mastermindtomillions.live to get your early bird tickets for October. Check us out if you want to join the band program. We have a great video on my personal Facebook feed. If you go to facebook.com/Brad Hart, you can watch that. That's facebook.com/Brad Hart. That's a little 5-minute testimonial reel from our recent testimonials from clients. We have a great group of folks in the BAM fam. If you want to apply to join the BAM fam, you're ready, willing, and able to jump in there, and you realize that it is an investment in mentorship and that you're ready to do that. You can go to buildamastermind.com/schedule-now. That's buildamastermind.com/schedule-now. And we will get you on the calendar and have a chat. And if it's a great fit, we'll get you in the program and help you build your mastermind, because this and a lot of other things go into building a mastermind. You have to be a great connector, or at least be willing to build towards that. You have to be somebody who wants to create better relationships with people, who's not on their ego. They definitely have that servant leadership quality aspect. They want to create a family of choice based on their values, and that can create amazing results in your life. Not just in money. Money is secondary to that, but in the relationships which the money flows from. I know without a doubt, whatever I get into, I have an unfair advantage because of my network now.
Sure.
And I'm going to continue to maintain that unfair advantage for time immemorial. And it's not a forever thing. Like, I don't have to do it every day, but it compounds as time goes on. And the more I work on it, the better it gets. Okay. That's all I have to say. What do you say, Chris?
Yeah. And I'm going to drop a little housekeeping in there. If any of you know any commanders or high level people within law enforcement, please, I'd love for you to connect me with them so we can make a difference and help these officers with their mental wellness, and
that's it.
Make sure they don't burn out, so that then the community is looked after, because we got to have them.
Got to have them. There's 18,000 police departments in the United States. I'm sure you have connections to one of them. Reach out to Chris. You know how to find him. All right, gang. Have a beautiful rest of your day.
Peace out, guys.
Cheers.